The reason we're deciding to put the fuel cell in the back seat is because we had it in the trunk, even though it was a way bigger cell, but the weight behind the wheels was just not good for transition. This car was like super slow to rotate and it was hard to recover, so trying to centralize as much weight as possible. So smaller fuel cell, because we don't need 14 gallons, drop down to a 10 gallon. We can mount our batteries right behind it, centered, fire suppression up front. Everything will be centered and in front of the wheels, so the car should feel way more balanced and have way better response on me either transitioning or having to recover and rotate back quick. So I pulled the fuel cell back out of the car, or got the tub for the fuel cell back out of the car. We're going to start making a frame around it. So we're basically going to do a frame so it'll sit in. Then we're going to do a strap that goes underneath the center to kind of support it. So pieces cut, squaring them up now. Going to tack them in place, get all four corners tacked, and then we'll test fit it on that. So I'm basically going to go, and I got this little 90-degree jig so it doesn't walk out of place when I weld it, but I'm going to tack it 3 spots, let this thing cool so it doesn't flex when I unclamp it, and then continue for all 4 corners. Then we'll test fit it, and then if it's good, we'll throw each corner back in this clamp, weld it up completely. Alright, so our frame's all welded up, but I'm going to make a change because of the placement of the fuel cell in the car. I'm actually going to cut this and then take these plates, weld it to the end of this so I can put a riv nut, and this front piece will bolt on. So that way I don't have to pull the cell all the way up out of the frame. I can take this bolt out, slide it forward, and then out. It sits in the car between the backstay bars. Since the height of it, I'll only get the fuel cell halfway out until the flanges hit the bars. That way, if we ever got to take it out for any reason, it's not stuffed in there, scraping up the roll cage, all that stuff. But I think sometimes you got to think ahead. Not always just getting it in there and getting it burnt in and dropping it in. You got to think about, all right, what if I have to remove this? What if we have to change this? What if we have damage? You got to think forward in certain situations like that, just to plan ahead of time. Alright, so I got this cut, got the ends capped on both sides. I'm gonna drill center, throw a rib nut in this, and then drill center of this, bolt that thing on there, and then we'll test fit it, make sure our squareness stayed. But now we'll be able to slide the fuel cell out from the front once we finish the rest of the mount and have it in the car. Alright, we got our holes drilled, riv nuts in. This thing's a complete frame. So you do it one-handed. Take our screw out. Bam. Yeah, I'll get our fuel cell out if we ever have to. Nice and easy now. Got our first leg tacked in. We're mocking up this back leg so it's at an angle where I want it to sit. Sides all tacked in, let's flip it, get that other one in, and then moment of truth, we'll sit in the car and see what my measurements are right. Cool. After we get that thing made, fuel cell fitted, make sure it's good with the actual fuel cell, make these 2 plates, stitch those in. Then we'll put it in one last time, and then if everything's good, take it all back apart, line this thing back up, burn it in. Alright, so here's a little preview of how this thing will come out once it's welded in. Zip that bolt out. this bolts out. Bam. Front piece comes off. This cage can literally slide out the front. Or the tank can slide out the front of the cage. Man, now we don't gotta worry about lifting it up and hitting the bars. Works, mate. Fuel cell cage is done and painted, but changed plans. So I was going to weld it in because I wanted to get, that part of it done and just get the fuel cell in, get it mounted, and be done with it. But we got to build a firewall on our back of our cage. So I think it'd be dumb to weld that fuel cell cage in place when I literally have to climb in and out of here to build this firewall. So fuel cell cage is going to be put on hold for now. Sitting, the tub sitting there. Cage is done. Fuel cell fits in it. I got all my holes for the rib nuts and everything mounted, or everything done. So it's done. It just needs to get welded in. But I'm gonna hold off on that, and we're gonna start building this firewall. So yeah, and then I'll show you a little bit more in depth on what we're gonna do and how I'm gonna build my templates and all that stuff in the firewall. So let's end this one here, and we'll catch you when we're making a firewall.